A Nation back with a probably 20-year friend of the family, Chip Reeves. We've gone through a couple iterations. So for those that don't know you, what are you doing today? I knew you back in the franchise days. Now you're doing online education. What's your company? What are you doing?
Yeah, so I still call myself an IT consultant, but I got out of IT really officially probably 2018 or so. Today I run Bigger Brains. We're an online training company that helps MSPs sell online training to their clients.
All right. And in prior talks, we've talked about how, quite frankly, you're a winner coming out of the pandemic with the shift to online lifestyles, education, and so on. So we had that talk, but let's look forward. We're talking the fourth quarter of 2021. What are you seeing in your realm in terms of courseware trends, what have you?
Yeah, well, I always want to start by saying it's interesting, but it's always interesting. Definitely the big thing these days is Microsoft Teams, both from a training perspective. We have 3 Microsoft Teams courses now, and of course they have to be updated constantly. Microsoft's always changing things. We update them as often as we can. But also delivery. Microsoft is going to have a big release later this month with their new Viva Learning product, which is going to let people take training inside Microsoft Teams. Bigger Brains will be a piece of that, but we won't be a direct piece of that. Some of their partners resell Bigger Brains training. So if you're using Microsoft Viva Learning and your client happens to have a contract with Open Sesame or BizLibrary or Cornerstone or one of those, then the Bigger Brains content may be there. We're still trying to figure out what the play is for MSPs in that space, but definitely not just Microsoft Teams in terms of the online collaboration, but everything Microsoft's doing now is kind of focused on that end user experience, end user well-being, end user professional development with the built-in training. And so we're trying to figure out where Bigger Brains plays a role in that. Certainly our training library is hopefully going to be a big part of that with the Microsoft Teams courses. We just started today production on our Office 2021 courses, which is still a thing. And it was actually really interesting because Microsoft released Office 2021 yesterday as we're filming this. They released it on October 5th. I know, and almost nobody in the industry cared. It was fascinating because once upon a time a new version of Office XP comes out. That was a big thing. And you would not that you would necessarily upgrade right away, but figuring out what's there, what the new features are, is it worth doing? And I remember, like you remember, Harry, I'm sure, when the switch started to happen going to Office 365, there was a lot of pushback from people in the industry saying, why am I going to pay a monthly fee when I could just pay one time? Why do I have to keep paying you forever for a product when I could own it forever? And so we saw that kind of pushback both in the channel and from the customer base. And now I saw, because I was looking at it this week, I had to figure out where to buy a copy of Office 2021 so we could use it in the filming this week. And that was actually kind of a challenge. But I saw the reverse because I saw a lot of comments online for where Microsoft was promoting Office 2021. And a lot of the pushback comments were, why should I care about upgrading when I can just have it upgraded automatically for me every month? Why should I pay you this big fee every few years when I can just pay a small monthly fee all the time? So the tide has definitely long shifted towards the SaaS model, and understandably so. But still good to have those milestone events so we can kind of bookmark the time when, okay, now it's the 2021 Office era, and here's the new stuff that Microsoft has with those and that sort of thing.
Well, that's really interesting. So you can actually buy the Office 2021 SKU, what we used to call the PID.
You can. You can't find a Circuit City to go in and buy a box copy anymore. I tried, didn't work. But you can, you go online and you can buy from Microsoft.com. I'm told, now they didn't have it ready the first half of the day yesterday, but there's other online resellers where you go and you pay your money and you download a multi-gigabyte ISO file and you can do the install that way. So there is still that perpetual license product. Microsoft supports it, I believe, for 5 years now, but it's a one-time purchase. You own it forever. And it does work with all the cloud services. It'll work with OneDrive. It'll work with OneDrive for Business. It'll work with SharePoint, but it doesn't have all the same features. It's missing some of the features that rely on the 365 platform, particularly the AI pieces, some of the design assistants and things like that.
I was in a meeting late yesterday, and no names, please, but it was with someone I've known for quite some time in the SMB space. He's been a salesman in the ISV area. And we're talking, and he's still using like Office 2013 on C drive, right? So the SKU right here. And I said, you're kidding me. And he said, well, I don't want to pay a monthly fee and all that. And I said, well, I'd like you to reconsider that, because Chip, what I articulated or asserted was the 365 version is more secure. So they're going to be able to keep it secure and patched, versus 13, the 2013 SKU on C drive. He may have some vulnerabilities that he doesn't even know about. Is that reasonable to sell into this SaaS?
Who knows what's reasonable? But my understanding is that the fixed product still gets security updates, although sometimes those are a mixed bag. I had an interesting conversation this week, because we also resell our content through training companies who resell our courses, and I had to explain to one why she needed to update their version of our Office 2016 training, because I kept saying, you need the new version of our training. And she said, no, we have customers who need Office 2016. They don't need Office 2019. I said, no, I understand. But what you have to realize is that Microsoft changed Office 2016. Even if you bought the Office 2016 product, there were some features that were added and there were some features that were removed during the life cycle of the product. And certainly there's security changes that go along, for a period of time. Now, having said that, with 2013, I would have to check the dates, but I think the 2013 version is now out of security updates. So you're right that I don't think that one's getting security updates anymore. 2016 still is, 2019 still is.
Okay.
2010 is not. 2013 is either right around the verge or right past the verge.
Should be
getting its updates.
Yeah. Hey, final thought. Windows 11. What's going on? What's your activity there? Does anybody care?
People care. We actually filmed our Windows 11 course yesterday, or 2 days ago. We filmed our Windows 11 course. So it's, I've seen a lot of reviews of Windows 11 that described it as yawn, and I don't necessarily disagree with that. It's somebody else called it Windows 10 with a new coat of paint. I can't disagree with that either. But from an end user perspective, that's the vision from an IT guy, right? From an end user perspective, when it looks different, it is different. And so they need some hand holding. They need to understand what they can and can't do. Can't customize the start menu as much as you used to. If you want the start menu back in the left side, then you've got to make that proactive change to move it out of this. There's things like that users are going to care about. But other than that, so far I haven't seen any big problems. It's not a Windows Vista kind of event. It seems to be running fine and doesn't seem to add all that much new capability either. So, yawn.
All right. We'll talk to you next quarter. Continued success.
Thank you so much, Harry. I appreciate it.
All righty.